Hey, good morning. I am involved with a conversation with a person I love very much, and this conversation is probably going to get a little deeper than I originally intended, and wanted to do it in a way where it was not face to face to invoke an emotional debate or argument. So instead of writing it out and sending emails or texts back and forth on the issue, I come up with this plan. Plus, it saves me time. I drive an hour to work. It gives me time to think and do things like this, when the rest of my waking time I'm very busy and enjoy my rest time in the evening. So we're going to start out with one of the things that concerns me most is the emotional aspect of trying to have a conversation, the emotional aspect of emotional attachment to fears and concerns and wants. Person I'm having a discussion with has a tendency to get into a rant about whatever it is, and that's what I want to talk about. Ranting, being excited, being upset, being emotional. Okay, so what I want to say is, I don't want to get into ranting about anything when we discuss political or religious or views that spark that kind of reaction, because nothing's accomplished. And you think about ranting as a whole. I can go to any news channel, any media outlet, any social media outlet on the internet, and people are ranting. It's just a conglomerate of rant. Imagine being forced to listen to the ranting of every individual about every issue all at once. It would just be a constant gray, loud noise. It would be you couldn't listen to it. It would drive a madman insane. And I think to myself, I imagine, God, what would it be like? What would it be like if everybody would just shut up for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes. The whole world shut up. Not be upset, not be angry, not be bitter, not be mean, not be jealous, not be selfish. Everybody just shut up. The whole world go quiet. What would that be like? I'd be absolute peace. It'd be, and I think people could, it would be for me that everything could stop. Everything would stop. And one could think. one could reflect. One could think, what are we so upset about? What is, that's a big question. What is everybody so upset about? Okay? You look at the reality of the human reaction to everything that they disagree with. And it's one big, giant noise of emotion. That's what it is. And nothing gets really accomplished. Nothing gets the attention that it could get if if the human race would just settle down and realize that not everything can happen that they want, and relax. So that's and I got a story here. As you know, I've been with UPS for 36 years. And I've known the people, most of the people I work with. UPS is a company where people stay there because, of course, it's a good job. And it has, it's a great value to someone's life. It has been for mine. And I have seen many people who I work with go into management, and work with them prior to management, and work with them after, when they're in management. Coffee break. And I've got a couple of people in particular, in mind in particular. I'm just going to use the word Dave, the name Dave for this particular guy. This guy was a driver for UPS for many years, and his body started to get tired and broken down to where he couldn't do. It was too hard for him to do the delivery, driving and delivery. It's a brutally physical job, and I thank God every day that I didn't get into that. But anyway. So this guy's personality was pretty outrageous. He hated management. Okay, now UPS is a union company, and there is a continuous animosity between the union and the management, and it's really prevalent. So this guy was a driver. He was pro-union, and he just absolutely hated management, and he would rant and rave and just be obstinate with management. And of course management would treat him the same way. So time went by, and this guy still needed a job, and he decided, I'm going to go into management. And with UPS, it's easy. You just write a letter of intent, and they evaluate it, make sure you're not insane, and they take you in. It doesn't matter. You could be insane. I know one guy who could not pass the psychological test. He took it 2 or 3 times, and they decided, we'll take him anyway. And that's because they were desperate for management. I'm getting off subject. So anyway, this guy gets into management, and guess what? Guess what I'm about to say. He now hates the union, hates drivers, and is obstinate towards the very thing he was. So the point that I'm going to make here is that it's not the issues that makes a person the way they are. It is not the issues that generates the passion and the ranting. It's the individual. It's inside of them. And I also catch myself doing the same thing, and try very much to keep to be aware of it, and not to let myself become emotional and rant about something or get excited about something that I really have no control of. Which leads me to the next issue. How much control does any one individual really have? Okay, here's the truth. Not much. Not much at all. Okay, we as people. I'm talking to my conversationalist here. We are a grain of sand on a 100-mile beach. We are space dust in the universe. We are a drop of water in a volatile ocean of current. We are a puff of smoke in the atmosphere of oxygen. Okay, we're nothing. And every human being, every individual is exactly the same thing. And any one of those drops of water or grains of sands or whatever, the metaphorical examples I use, can disappear at any moment. Alright, so here is the crutch of what I'm trying to say, is that all of our passions and all of our emotional attachment to ideas and people and possessions and things is really inflated beyond a point that is useful. And in the end, we cause ourselves harm. High blood pressure, depression, anxiety. Over what? I've got enough issues in my personal life that cause me grief. So getting excited and upset and angry about issues that really I can't change. I'm just not going to do it. I used to back when I was younger, and UPS truck alongside the road. Anyway, I caused myself a lot of grief, and yes, I've, you know what happened. Another thing that you pointed out is that your heart breaks when you think about things that are unfair in life for people. Well, here's the truth, that life is unfair. Life is unfair for everyone. And it is tragic in some cases. It is heartbreaking in some cases. It is tragic in one's personal life. And it is tragic outside of one's personal life. And it can make, if it's not uncommon. If a person's heart is breaking all the time for things that are very sad, that person's susceptible to, a depression and worse, health issues. So, because of that truth and that reality, you just got to let go of the things that you can't control. Life is unfair, and nobody likes it. All right, the other thing, let's talk about, since this is a political conversation, and this is what this is about, political conversation, because right now the world is pretty hostile. Everybody's upset, everybody's afraid. Probably afraid of things that aren't really real because of the rhetoric and the ranting that's on the news media on both sides. Actually there's three sides: radical left. I guess there's four sides actually: radical left, the right, and the radical right. Okay, of course we know what that means. The left tends to go towards socialism. The far left goes towards communism. The right tends to go for freedom, capitalism, free market. And then the far right is close the borders, white supremacy. I really don't see as much as that used to be pretty bad, but right now the radical left is dominating what's going on right now, and people are afraid of the current president. These people, I really don't think that. Let me say this: with all the rhetoric that we hear on medias, on both sides, every bit of it, all of it, how much do you think is really 100% true? None of it is 100% true, because every report or every commentary is based on a bias for one side or the other. So bits of information are left out or added. It's always the way it is. Always. There's never anything is 100% true that comes out of the media because of biasness, and it exists on both sides. You have to, I try to watch, because it's important to watch and learn. It's important to know what, is going on, so that the current of action towards the volume of information moves forward. And it may not go the way that I prefer or you prefer. But the truth is, we as human beings get excited and rant and rave and get upset and get angry about from information that is predominantly false or skewed. I think skewed is the best word. And literally, this is the truth. This is the absolute truth. Our society is steered by media and information that we receive or choose to receive receive from the internet and news outlets. So what's the alternative? The only alternative is to look at it from outside the box of information. To stare down at it through a magnifying glass or a telescope, a microscope. To look down at it and to study it. And I mean look down at it because it's a down thing. It's not a good thing. A great thing would be that absolutely everybody who is reporting information tells the truth unbiasedly. But naturally, that is never going to happen because you're a human being who's reporting it, and you have personal objectives and personal concerns and personal wants. And of course, you also have to consider the fact that the owners of these media outlets also have to make money and want to make money, and they want to make a lot of money. Money also steers information, because if the wind blows in a certain opinionated direction, the media is going to follow it or push it for personal gain. And the personal gain comes from many things. Stock market. If there's a certain view that's pushed, a certain issue that's pushed, it'll affect some monetary relationship in the stock market. Also, the commercial advertising. The media wants to make sure that their channel is viewed, their particular media outlet is viewed because of competition. So they will do and say what they have to do and say and show, so that we human beings will turn on their channel. It's just constant competition for your mind. So what can you really trust? And of course, you got the politics who want to stay in power, so they're going to say and do and be what they have to be to stay in power, so that they can be what they want. It's really it's really a kind of a disgusting world, But as far as the U.S. goes, and the way that the U.S. is, the United States of America is formulated, I think that it's probably, I believe that it's one of the greatest democracies, because it is a republic by representation in the world. We are the strongest country in the world because of the formulation of our government with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and the formation of our government. Is it perfect? Hell no, nothing's perfect. You still got human involvement, ego, and selfishness. But everything is really in place to wash away all of the dirt and grit, and eventually get to the surface I'm going to send it to you, my conversational partner here, and let you listen to it or watch it or whatever, and think about it and then respond. Alrighty, I'm out of here.